Alright, we saved. Now we're getting into the next part of the story. New school, new teachers, and most importantly, new classmates who I always have trouble connecting with. Like most other kids with glasses, probably. I forced myself to get out of my warm bed. Dad would usually drive me to my old school, but this morning the bedroom of my parents was silent. Did they sleep in? Maybe it was a good thing. I didn't want to get the daddy's boy reputation from day one. Wait a minute. Having your parents drive you to school gives you a daddy's boy reputation?
Whoa, 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 she's a lady.
That seems a little weird to me. Ninja, thank you very much for resubscribing for the 3rd month. It's much appreciated. Part of the pack already? Yes, I know you are. But thank you for resubscribing. We're gonna tear up some children at school? Maybe. My parents were probably still tucked in, dreaming about the good old days when everything was so simple and easy. Sweet dreams, even if far removed from reality. I silently sneaked out to the 1st floor so I wouldn't wake up anybody, especially the peacefully sleeping Alia. I did my best to step on the middle of every floorboard. I used to play like this even in our old apartment. If my soles touched the space between the floorboards, it would count as stepping on into lava. I know, Ninja. I appreciate you hanging out, but I have my bunny to cuddle with. You'll find you a penguin to cuddle with. I got faith you will. The clock was spurring me on with its hands. I need to hurry. Faster. Faster. I was too fast, so I needed to circle the hallway once again. Boiling lava was bursting out of the cracks between floorboards. I need to watch my step, to survive at any cost. Hippity hop like a frog jumping on molehills like a fearful bunny in a grove full of wolves. Thank you, Ninja. I made a sandwich in the kitchen, shoved it down my throat, and drank it down with cold tea. He is. He's handsome. My appetite was as good as of someone being led to the scaffold toward a guillotine. I lowered my gaze and saw that one of my feet was standing on 2 floorboards at the same time. Oh no. Burnt to a crisp, huh? I moved my foot. Disgusting little snakes writhed in my belly, the fear of getting hit and being called nasty names.
Excuse me.
Daryl, thank you very much for the 100 biddies. It's much appreciated. How are you doing today? And you guys have almost started a hype train like the freaking legends you are. The clock clicked. I need to go. It was dark outside, fitting for an early winter morning. Ninja. This darkness never fully left the house around here. I took my time tying my shoes, buttoning up the puffy down jacket, trying to delay my unpleasant exit into the semi-dark, into the unnerving unknown. You guys! Oh, you guys are crazy. A hype train doesn't go with this story. Alright, we're gonna continue our story. I rubbed my glasses for good luck, though I couldn't remember a single time these thick pieces of glass brought me any good fortune. You're cold? Oh, I bet. Well, our story's probably not going to help you since it's in the middle of Russian winter. The sky was akin to a giant bruise. That's an interesting description of the sky. On the east side of it, a black cloud was swelling up. It licked up stars from the sky and extinguished the rising sun. Darkness was plastered all over the treetops. The cautious cries of birds got tangled up in the thicket. Oh, wonderful. I know, exactly. It is wonderful. It's perfect. We would tell you, but Jules might get mad at Luna. I locked the front door with the long key that I wore around my neck. My parents made me wear this noose, afraid that I, being a total klutz that I am, could lose the key otherwise. The wind whizzed on the other side of the gate. It invited me into my new life towards dubious adventures. And tagged along like an old buddy pushing me in the back. Wide shadows that pines threw out covered. I am not reading well today. Let's try that again. Wide shadows that pines threw out covered a third of the clearing. Upon reaching the edge of the forest, I hid my nose in my coat's collar. I was squeezing through the thin fire break, my hair ruffled up and my back hunched over. Tall trees stood on both sides of the tiny trail. The snowy blanket rustled under my feet, and the canopy of intertwined branches above my head cut me off from the already sparse starlight. Okay, why is he wandering out into the woods in the early morning? Why didn't he just ask his parents to take him to school? If he's already scared of the woods, why wouldn't he just ask his parents to take him to school? Oh, okay. The night had no plans of moving away from the forest. In this darkness, trees reminded me of shaggy old women that smelled of burial earth. Because that would make sense. Yeah, pretty much. Afraid they might fight? Maybe. That's a good point, Dottie. Their trunks turned into cracked, wrinkled faces with holes in the middle of their mouths. If I lost focus even for a moment, mold-covered witches would drag me into the forest depths. Then my parents would be walking around these parts screaming my name. But the dead can't answer the living. Or can they? A sense of panic was growing in my chest. I was fine with Dad carrying me into the school in his hands by now, if it saved me from watching the darkness rise up in the ravines like black dough. It felt like someone jumped into the bushes behind me, so I turned around. As soon as I started walking faster, I heard the snow squeak behind me. The forest took a deep breath with its giant's lungs. The windfall cracked. The wind and the birds were left behind in the field. Now I could only hear the forest creak. I walked, listening closely, and the unseen presence grew stronger. As if someone was following me, trying to match the pace of my footsteps. Thank you for the follow, Dewberry. It's much appreciated. I hope you're doing well. I turned my head so fast it made my neck crunch. A tiny trail behind me disappeared into the darkness. Tree branches overlapped, forming a natural tunnel. Who's there? The question escaped my lips and dissolved into the unending creaking sound of the wooden idols, the pines around me. Why did I think going through the forest alone was a good idea? I'm either going mad or someone had intentionally lured me away from home. Dude, you're on your way to school. How is that intentionally luring you away from home? Distant lights granted me a smidgen of hope. A country road. I ran there as fast as I could, as if afraid that the trail will shrink, crawling. Yeah, as if afraid that the trail will shrink. Clawed hands will grip me by the shoulders, turn me around, and make me look at the face of hungry forest denizens. In the end, nobody stopped me. I almost flew to the I almost flew to the decrepit bridge, disbelieving my luck. The bridge's support bathed in the spring terry and ice cold. Okay, wait a minute. I gotta read that sentence again. The bridge's supports bathed in a spring terry and ice cold. I put my hands on my knees and looked up at the forest, then snorted, trying to calm my breathing. The thicket was pretending to be asleep. It looked peaceful and lifeless. The remaining part of my commute laid through snow-laden roads, illuminated by sparse lamplights. I chased away bad thoughts and ran as fast as I could, from one circle of light to another, seeking protection from electric lamps. Just like in that game where you need to be the first to proclaim, "I'm protected." Okay, that's not a game I've heard before. Let's see here. Oh, they're talking about tag? Tag. A kid's game where one player needs to tag the others by touching them. In certain zones, normally call the goal, players can stay safe from Oh, okay. So they're playing, okay, they're that type of tag. Got it. It's just in this case that protection was flimsy at best, the darkness writhing outside its bounds. Then I noticed something remarkably eerie. In a place where the light formed an inclined lamp couldn't reach, a hairy, crooked shadow came alive with a guttural roar. It almost felt like its features deterred light. Its unnatural pose instilled fear. My eyes almost popped out of their sockets as I stood there, blinking, trying to chase away that illusion. But now the shadow didn't disappear, and even got closer. My insides were gripped by horror. I stepped back and almost fell into a snow pile. The black silhouette, on the other hand, straightened up and addressed me in a sweet voice. Sneaking around, huh? Trying to steal my soul? Words got stuck in my throat. Who could be talking in such a silky voice here, between the forest and the dormant village? Will you say something, dummy? A cat got your tongue? Alright, I'll bite your nose off then. That'll teach you not to poke it in places it doesn't belong. A girl stood before me, judging from the voice and the silhouette. But I couldn't even reprimand myself for getting scared by a girl before noticing a gaping mouth under her hood with something dangerously shiny inside. I was stunned. From the cavity of her hood, a frighteningly real fox face was staring straight at me. It's just her jaws weren't moving and her eyes weren't blinking. A mask? It's just a girl with a fox mask on. At least I wanted to think that. After a surprise like that, a nervous smile involuntarily crept onto my face. Alright, let's see. This should be... There we go. Daryl, why are you playing all this suspenseful music? Ah! JC, how are you doing? You missed the hype train and your favorite song. Never mind. Daryl's trying to scare me. I swear. Oh no? Oh yes. Why not play suspenseful music? Because the game has enough suspenseful noises and music. It's already jump scared the shit out of me last time we played. JC, I had to play you today. Daryl did it yesterday. Oh. After a surprise like that, a nervous spot. Okay, we already did that.
А я
I was just
просто в школу иду.
going to school, and then you.
Что я?
What about me?
Никогда не видел, как лиса собаку кормит.
Never seen a fox feed a dog? Oh, what a cute little doggy. And indeed, there was a small dog circling the girl's legs, one of the strays that were chasing me yesterday, probably.
Извини, я не хотел.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. After hearing my voice, the dog whimpered, lowered its ears, sniffed me out, and started wagging its tail. Aww. I guess I still smelled of bologna that I ate for breakfast. I was shifting my gaze back and forth from the dog to the girl. She didn't seem scary anymore, just weird.
Значит, не хотел. Ну-ну.
So, didn't you mean to,
Как тебя зовут?
what's your name?
Меня Антон,
I'm Anton.
а тебя?
And you?
А меня нет.
And I'm not. Well, damn. That sounds like an evil laugh if I've ever heard one. She is weird. Definitely has a couple of loose screws. But she has a nice voice. My astonishment has turned me into a mix of happiness and relief. This girl I didn't know was definitely human, if a bit eccentric. Yeah, bologna for breakfast. Have you never had that? Oh, I figured it did. I figured it had a wolf in it based on the shadow figures. Yes, Lordon has joined us again today. We missed him yesterday, but he joined us again today for Tiny Bunny. Yeah, there we go. I was also a bit angry at myself. This foxy girl was walking through the darkness without a problem, and I shuddered from every little sound. I could just walk away, but this girl had piqued my interest. The next time a police officer asks me about my friends at the new place, I'll tell him that I befriended a talking fox.
Ты здесь живешь?
Dagger! Do you live around here?
В поселке?
In the village? The fox giggled and purred. She spun around so hard the hem of her coat lifted up.
Нет, глупый.
No, dummy.
Лисы не живут в поселке.
Foxes don't live in villages.
Хочешь сказать, ты живешь в лесу?
So you live in the forest then? Alan?
Из какой норы ты вылез?
Have you been living under a rock?
Конечно.
It's obvious that
Лисам
foxes
среди
can't
людей не
survive anywhere
выжить.
near humans.
Пока не
As long
лис.
as they're foxes. Her jokes were also weird. Just like her carnival mask. Paper mache with fur glued onto it. A dog reminded us of its existence with a loud bark. I unfastened my backpack. Dad would sometimes throw food in there without my knowledge, cookies, apples, or even my favorite crab sticks. He called it a gift from the bunny. Oh. So what is that reference to? Treat from the bunny, an uneaten part of a business lunch or a treat specifically bought for children. Parents would tell their children that a bunny asked them to deliver said treat, but it could also be any other animal, a squirrel or a bear, for example. Oh, that's interesting. The stray strolled towards me with a menace. The stray strolled towards me with mincing footsteps with a pleading look in its eyes. The fox did definitely treat it to something, but it was probably still hungry.
Зачем ты так вырядилась с утра пораньше?
Why are you dressed like this so early in the morning?
На утренник идешь?
Going to a costume party? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The girl shrugged, throwing silvery snowflakes off her nose, and her human form along with them, turning into a genuine beast. A real fox, agile, cunning, and dangerous. A moment of hesitation and you'll be ripped to shreds. She'll tear you up and gulp you down without breaking a sweat. I couldn't help but just stand there as a stump. Okay. Until I hear her calm, melodic laughter hidden underneath the beastly mask.
Видел бы ты свою маску, сладенький.
I wish you could have seen your own mask, sweetie. Did she say sweetie? I got embarrassed, went red up to my hair roots. We'd seen a fox in a zoo once when we went there with Dad, but it had patchy fur, was gray and skinny. Oh, that's sad. But this girl was a fiery color and fury, just like in the fairy tales. I was still rummaging through my backpack. My fingers that were searching for the dog's treat stumbled upon some soft, crumpled object.
Ничего,
You'll see.
скоро проснутся настоящие звери.
The real beast will wake up soon.
Спроси-ка лучше у них, где они взяли свои человеческие лица.
You should ask them where they got their human faces. The girl's shadow was dancing in the lamplight. The dog yapped in agreement. I freaked out and dropped my finding in the snow without getting a proper chance to examine it. Cold wind instantly covered the hole it created with snow. The dog rushed to dig it out, wanting to get its treat. And the fox just snorted. Now I was embarrassed. I wanted to sink through the snow. It was still dark outside of the electric circle. On the contrary, the darkness seemed even thicker. All neighboring houses were sleeping deeply in its inkiness. I did my best to continue the conversation with the weird girl I didn't know.
Так ты в школу идешь?
Are you going to school?
Ах, ну какой же
Oh
дурачок!
my, you really are you are a real dummy.
Так ничего и не
Don't you
понял.
get it? Well, I was trying to be friendly, but she can't stop mocking me, calling me a dummy and all. I should have just moved along without paying any attention to this weirdo and her stupid dog.
А ты чего обзываешься?
Why are you so mean?
Не хочешь отвечать, пожалуйста.
Don't answer if you don't want to.
Никто не требует.
It's not like I care. Still, something froze me in place, tugged me toward the dark figure. A mysterious appearance. Her voice that was velvety, yet languid enough. I was intrigued and excited. I watched her as people watch fires burn.
Ой, да не дуйся.
Oh, stop pouting.
Гляди-ка
Look
лучше.
here.
Ты нравишься Жульке.
Okay, that pronunciation of that name is gonna go all awry. Zaholka took a liking to you. That I know I just butchered that name. The dog was digging through the snow with sharp movements, snorting loudly. The fox turned around and looked at the windows of the nearby houses, at its timbered front through the white mist. The tip of her fake nose was shining under the lamplight.
И не только ей.
And maybe someone else, too. I went red again, like a boiled crayfish this time. I knew that was gonna get a response. I know I butchered the fuck out of that name. Is she talking about herself or someone else? I hoped that the semi-dark would be able to hide my embarrassment from the girl. I cleared my throat before asking.
А кому еще я нравлюсь?
And who's that person? I waited, counting my heartbeat. The fox didn't reply. Her sly stare was scanning the frosty patterns of someone's windows. She was reading them like a glass book. I wonder what she can see in those winter paintings. The stray stopped rummaging through the snow. It ran to me, holding my object in its jaws. A mitten. Could it be the one I found in the forest? What's it doing here? Oh, that's fine, Lordon. It'll be alright. You're heading out, have a one. Thank you, Ninja. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of your day, too. And I hope to see you again next time. Well, whenever you're able to, because I know your schedule kind of conflicts with my streaming. But whenever you're able to make it. What is it doing here? When I looked closer, I realized that it was just my mitten. Maybe Mom stuffed it in there when I was asleep? A certain missing boy immediately came to mind.
Эй, ты знаешь что-нибудь про Вову?
Hey, do you know anything about Vova? I imagined the scene, silhouettes dancing in the clearing. The dance on the night when Vova had disappeared. A boy who, when found, could provide a big reward and maybe save my family. But I think he just imagined the reward. I don't think the reward was ever actually mentioned. I remembered my birthday when our parents promised to take me and Alia to Disneyland in Paris. But instead of a long-anticipated gift, they gave me a simple brick game console, visibly embarrassed. I was crying my eyes out back then, demanding to take me to the promised amusement park. That was the first time when Mom and Dad had a big fight. My greediness shattered their relationship. No, there was probably something going on before that. If only I could fix everything, gather everybody I love and take them to Disneyland.
В ночь, когда пропал Вова, я, кажется, видел, как кто-то похожий на тебя плясал под моим окном.
On the night that Vova disappeared, I think I saw someone looking like you dancing under my window. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It could be true, but I felt like her mask became more sly. The fox was sniffing me out.
Ты тогда испугался?
Oh, that got you worried? For yourself or for someone else? Yeah, something's real sus. I agree, Dagger. Alia, as soon as I thought about my sister, my chest tightened and cold sweat streamed down my spine.
Ну так слушай меня.
Well then, listen closely, a boy named Anton.
Это большой
This is a big, scary forest. The fox girl stepped forward menacingly.
и я не единственный.
And I am not its only tenant.
Другие
The
звери
other beasts already know about you. Beware, they'll come again tonight. I shouldn't have talked to this evil in child form, I thought, panicking.
пока ты со своей семьей будешь
When you and your parents will be fast asleep, we'll sneak really close and dance.
Макарену.
Macarena! I'm sorry, I can't even take that seriously.
Чё?
What? Huh?
Эй, Макарена.
Oh my goodness.
У тебя прямо челюсть отвисла, Антоша.
That was I was totally not expecting that at all. That's what makes it so funny. I was Oh my god. That's right, it's a horror novel. Oh my god. Oh, look at you, your mouth agape. Antonish. Oh, Anton. I'm just going with Anton. I'm not even going to try to mix those two together.
Видел он меня ночью у своего окна. Ага, как же.
He saw me near his window at night. Yeah, right.
Ты случайно не
Are you by any chance a dimwit? Nobody would let me go outside that late.
здесь?
Children go missing here, you know. I touched the plastic frame of my glasses, puzzled by her silly joke. She got me scared to death.
Ой, да не тереби так
Hey,
голову
why
свою.
don't you stop fondling your glasses?
Я раньше тоже близорукая.
I was also nearsighted once.
Лучше послушай.
Listen to me and maybe you'll become smarter.
Лисичку как
Remember, what do they call foxes?
Плутовка?
Cunning? Her words seemed to hurt her. Hey! What did you...
Ой, прости.
Wait, what's wrong with being called cunning? I mean, that's what they say about foxes. Sorry? Her laughter was akin to the jingle of a pair of silver bells.
Да шучу я.
Just pulling your leg. Of course we're cunning.
Если ты его
If you're agile and brave enough to befriend a cunning fox, I'll help look for your vulva.
искать, ты же неспроста его ищешь.
There's a reason why you're doing it, right? I shrugged in reply. Her insight was alarming.
Знаю, почему дети повадились соваться в наш лес.
I know why the children have been swarming our forests recently.
Порой там можно найти
Sometimes you can find a lot of interesting stuff there. But he's a dummy. He's not supposed to know. Yeah, pretty much. This kid can't take a joke. Oh my goodness. One day I saw a huge pile of candy once, and I swam in it until my jaws... Okay, that's a weirdly phrased sentence. One day I saw a huge pile of candy once, and I swam in it until my jaws cramped. That once isn't needed. A pile of candy? I couldn't deduce whether she believed in what she was saying from the tone of her voice. I showed her another smile, a fake one this time. Boo, so wary. Well, what will you say to this then? What will you say to this then? She held out her hand in a furry mitten. Oh, there's a bunch of candy. What the heck are... Yeah, there's a few. There's some translation mistakes, but it's okay. They're not too bad. It's just when I come across them, it makes me go, wait a minute. And I usually have to reread the sentence in order to figure out why it doesn't sound right. I have a feeling that candy there is supposed to be reminiscent of something. But I don't recognize that candy. Yeah, Daryl, I mean, the candy was definitely found in the back of a white van that said free candy on it. I agree. There was an assortment of sweets in her palm. In the city where I used to live, sweets like these were sold at the markets in kiosks. Small container type shops selling a wide variety assortment of product, bubblegum to vodka, clothing, or even home appliances. These types of shops were popular in the 90s. In 90s Russia, and more often than not tied to criminal organizations. Ah, okay. So the products could range from basically bubblegum to home appliances, depending on what they were. Alright. I saw my favorite bubblegum in a vivid wrapper among the tasty treasure. A familiar name on it was Turbo. A triangular fox face poked her nose towards me. Take some. No, don't take some. My pockets are full of these. Don't take the pocket candy. Fuck. Alright, chat, are we taking the pocket candy or are we refusing the pocket candy? Well, I didn't realize that kiosk was gonna be basically reminiscent of, like a flea market stall, but no, in the long run it didn't need to be translated, but it's okay. Nah, we're not doing a poll. There's only 15 people here. We can do it. We can do a quick chat decision. JC says take it. Lordon says take it, of course. Save first? I don't know if I can save. I can save. You're right. Alright, we got one don't, and everybody else is saying take it. We're dead anyway, so we might as well just take it. Death to chocolate poisoning, take it. What could go wrong? I did save Dagger. Alright, we have 2 refuse. Everybody's saying take, and everybody else is saying refuse. We got 2 refuses, and everybody else is saying take. I'm sorry. Harlequin, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I accepted the treat in catching a whiff of the girl's smell, fur, fireworks, and citrus. The smell of holidays. My fingers tingled while I carefully unwrapped the gum. Peachy aroma entered my nostrils and something else, something unfamiliar but pleasant. The fruit cube ended up in my mouth. I started moving my molars, chewing the gum. It tasted like your usual Turkish gum, only my tongue went a bit numb. We're about to be drugged, aren't we? We are totally getting drugged. I couldn't believe my luck after opening the insert. Oh, sweet, he got a collectible thingy. I'm assuming that's what this is going to tell me. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the inserts are considered collectibles. Alright, yeah. I looked at a Mercedes-Benz AN. No, wait. Fuck. I looked at the Mercedes-Benz, an extremely rare and hence desirable collector's item for any boy from my previous neighborhood. My heart skipped a beat. I was barely able to tear my eyes off the insert, still stunned. This is... Now do you see what can be found in the forest? Still, I wouldn't go there alone if I were you. You get so flustered over simple bubblegum after all. Imagine what would happen if you find a travel case worth of these. It'll surely blow your mind. Unusual treats. Just like everything else about her. I carefully hid the insert in my bag as if I was putting a rare butterfly in a can. The fox giggled. The secret ingredient is GHB? I mean, that's always possible. This is not how things are supposed to go on a Monday morning. Who are you? I refrained from asking that question. She wouldn't answer anyway, or she'd just lie. I really wanted to see what's behind her mask. I was becoming more and more sure that underneath it wasn't just a simple young girl. What if Volva also found a snow pile with sweets and is now rolling in it? Actually, what if he decided to stay in the forest? He must be so cold without his second mitten then. Wait, what? The wind caught her words like smoke from a fire and carried them deep into the darkness, into the creepy thicket. The trees behind me cracked with their bony branches. Or what if something happened to him along the way? Something terrible. Yeah, what did happen to the dog during all this? I want the dog back. Screw you, fox girl. Where's the dog? The dog was cute. The forest reacted to her words, became alive. It sniffed me out, perking up its ears just like a curious beast. The fox girl pierced me with her eyes again. Wild beasts? You find that scary? Well, I don't know. He doesn't know. Oh my, have I befriended a dunce? I don't like being called a dunce, yet being friends with her sounded nice. My grades are good. Really now? Will you come with me, good grades, Anton? Will you find Volva and you'll be able to ask him what he found deep in the forest? As long as you're with me, nothing can hurt you in the forest. You'll see. Worms of worry writhed in my belly. Better run, whispered my mind. I don't believe you. Do you take me for a liar? Whatever, you're just like everybody else. The girl sounded hurt, although I don't know if she was genuine about it. She turned around as if she had immediately lost all interest in me. The gum felt bitter now. I remember my dad's favorite saying, "Where are your manners, son?" Indeed, this fox was kind to me. Please don't get mad. Foxes can also be nice, like in fairy tales. I just need to know what kind of fox you are. This beautiful joke rhythm was lost in translation. That happens sometimes, Lordon. It's okay. What's wrong with being a dunce? You get your own hat? I mean, you don't know. You never know. He might not want his own hat. The girl giggled, hiding the nose of her mask in her hands. Then follow me into the forest and you'll get to know me. A cool spot in the corner. Yeah, you get your own little private corner as a dunce. I don't know, Harlequin. I don't know. I don't know what game he's talking about. I don't know what show he was watching. I know, son. Alright, but right now, let's get back to the story. The fox said, "What does the fox say?" But not right now. When it gets bright, I mean, your whole body is shaking, you poor thing. I don't want you to get a stroke. Hey, let me accompany you to school. After hearing this, the dog barked in agreement and stopped messing with the mitten. I leaned down, trying to grab the piece of handwear that almost ran away from me. Well, if we're going in the same direction. We went towards the school in the We went toward the school in the lost dawn. Here and there the lights came on in the windows of houses we passed, as if their inhabitants were sending us warning signs. Silhouettes behind curtains, dogs let out occasional barks. Spirals of gray smoke rose from chimneys, TVs bustled and dishes clanged in kitchens. We watched the village slowly rise from its slumber while carefully treading the snow wheel trails. I walked in the left one and she took the right one. The dog followed right between us. Or right behind us. I mean, it is a horror game. Or horror novel, so you never know, Dagger. I expected the fox to bring up something weird again, but she stayed silent all the way to the school, as if playing with me some game only she was privy to. She would only giggle from time to time when the dog sneezed from the snowflakes that fell on its nose. It was the first break in silence. "So, what's your name?" "Here it comes. Names, names, names. You people always need to put labels on everything. What name would you give a fox like me?" "I don't know. But I've read about Alyssa the fox." "You know what? I don't mind. I'll be Alyssa." I couldn't understand if she was joking or not. I turned around as if looking for an answer from the dog, from the dark sky devoid of dawn. My silent questions were left unanswered. No, she just spelt it differently. That's all. The school's outline was already in our sight. A giant brick building stuck in the endless night. Lights in the windows didn't bode well for me. The warden trees were guarding the schoolyard. Screams, childish laughter, and someone's whistle tore up the silence. I went here with Mom when we just moved, and the place looked cozy at that time. Empty corridors that smelled of polish, puffy snow outside. The second time I came along to get the books and just kept on imagining my peers rolling down the railings, grade schoolers running to the library, and teachers marching down the corridor with an air of self-importance back then. Or an air of self-importance around them. High schoolers were smoking at the entrance in track pants and wool caps perched on their foreheads. Their appearance destroyed the last hopes for a cozy school. Their stingy eyes and teeth, yellow from nicotine, their smirks, all of it had the same gloomy effect as the gloomy winter morning. Absorbed by my thoughts, I completely forgot about my companion. I'll wait for you at the backyard after school. Near the hanged man. Near the hanged man? What? Near what? She just ignored my question. Don't be late. I hesitated. Blowing hot and cold again. Mom always said that when I would have trouble choosing between two options. Thinking about my mom helped me reply. I'm going straight home after school. Well, Antosha, I'm going to let you off the hook. But the others will creep up to you with their smiles and sink their teeth into you. Won't be able to shake them off so easily. Remember my words. Oh shit! The fox opened her mouth in a wide yawn. What kind of trick is this? Someone running in the distance called out my name. I instinctively turned around. Hey! Hey! Who's throwing snowballs at the dog? A huge snowball whizzed past my shoulder and hit the dog. It whimpered and ran toward the spring. The darkness devoured it. Freaking assholes! Hitting the dog with a snowball. How dare they? The fox girl was also nowhere to be seen. She dissolved into frosty air. Is there a way to make... There's the... Okay. It's like, why is the music volume not showing up on OBS? There we go. Or was she hiding in my shadow? I gulped. And swallowed the gum. Of course he swallowed the gum. Unlucky. After taking a deep breath, I went toward the school, toward the After a deep breath, I went toward the school, toward the cutlets in dough, toward the light raining down onto the snow. Most likely, Dagger. Okay, let's see here. The sound effects they give some of this stuff. And the sound effects are so much louder than the music, too. There was a fresh-looking Volga parked nearby, with one of its front wheels perched on an icy curb. There was a fresh-looking... No, wait, we already clicked that. Black was... Black like so... As if it was straight out of the horror story Dad loved to tell me when we hid in the attic during a thunderstorm. I remember him always wearing a sad smile while mentioning the black car that snatched children. Oh. He would say, "It looks like a funeral car on the inside, white curtains and all. And it has DSC in its license plate. Do you know what that means? Death to Soviet children." Funny, I was born in the USSR too. Whose nest is this, I wonder? A thieving magpie? Then it probably has all sorts of shiny things in it. Don't enter ditch school? We'll have to see if that's an option. Pieces of colorful glass, bottle caps, polished coins, or child braces. A buzzing crowd of upperclassmen with their winter hats tipped to the side. I'd better not draw their attention. A tall man was standing near the gate, puffing out clouds of smoke into the wind. He didn't look like a teacher. Was he a PE guy, maybe? I carefully studied his face that looked like it was cut from a piece of granite, and his hair lip that was holding down a cigarette. He was playing around with his car keys and staring back at us. The light from the cigarette was reflected in his eyes that were sitting deep in his eye sockets. I froze in place. The hulking man lazily tore off his eyes from us and walked towards the road. Alright, I think that's everything. Well, creepy guy number 2 has entered the scene. I could hear muffled voices behind the door, saw blinking lamps. Darkness crept along the windows, and it felt like the school was drifting in open space like a lonely lost spaceship. I'm assuming this says announcements. After going up to the second floor, I noticed a crowd around the notice board. Everyone was taking part in a lively discussion. I moved closer and took a look at something everyone was interested in through a wall of backpacks. There was a piece of paper with something printed on it glued to the left of the notice board. Volva. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. It says lesson schedule? Okay. Volva, 10 years old, grade 4, left his home on January the 5th around 4 p.m. and never returned. Was last seen at the bridge over the Samordian River. He was wearing an orange coat with a hood and black wool cap, a scarf, and mittens with green stripes. Might have had a plastic toy gun on him. Features: 142 centimeters tall, skinny brown hair, and green eyes. Please call these numbers if you have any information. Missing child. 4th grader. On that gray print, vulva looked dead, like a black mouth and dark, empty eye sockets. Yeah, this kid is missing. Could it be that the darkness dwelling deep in the forest invaded his pores and mutilated his face? A plastic toy gun couldn't protect him from the whispering branches and the howling wind. Empty eyes of the lost boy pierced through my soul as if pleading. Unable to meet his stare, I turned around and rushed to the window, took a seat on the windowsill. The corridor was slowly filling up with children in groups of few. Nobody paid me any mind. In the darkness of school toilets, children's voices were humming a nursery rhyme.
Для медведя, для лисы, зайчик кушать принеси.
For the fox and the bear, for the fox and for the bear, bunny tasty meals prepare. I turned my head towards them, trying to get a better look at their features, but then my attention was stolen by a loud clicking noise. A female teacher marched down the corridor with her chin raised up high. Her heels were hitting the floor like miniature hooves. A girl was trailing her every step. She was also looking pompous, stopping along the way and whispering some secret to her friends' ears. She was probably a class rep since she was carrying an attendance register book.
Екатерина, возьми, пожалуйста.
Oh god, here comes another name I'm about to butcher. Actually, that looks like Katrina, just with an E. Katya? To me, that looks like Katrina, but with an extra letter at the beginning. Huh. Oh, well, Dagger, Lordon is Russian as well. He was the one that helped me figure out how to say Alia's name. So you're saying it should be pronounced Katya? Looks like Katrina to me, but okay. Take this, please. The teacher opened the classroom door and the crowd of children swarmed in, screaming and pushing. Out of all of them, a tall, red-headed fat boy caught my attention. His face was full of blisters. He looked like the inside of a pomegranate. Oh, poor kid. A bad feeling raising up my hair and on the back of my head. I've seen boys like him before. Unsettled eyes, cackling laughter. The girl who was a smaller copy of the teacher, warned the boy with a wave of her hand and entered the room through the clearing in the crowd. Some other guys stood in the way of the crowd and the redhead immediately shoved him. Move your legs, moron. The boy flew head first, flailing his arms, trying to keep his balance. The fatso burst out laughing and a couple of the kids joined his nasty cackling. Okay. Their laughter sounded like someone was... Their laughter sounded like somebody was snipping with huge garden scissors. The classroom sucked all of the kids in. The corridor stood empty. I wanted to grow roots and stay on the windowsill. Just a handful of lampposts outside were battling the darkness, writhing like fluorescent fish in the black ocean. Maybe I can still run away, go outside, dissolve in the dark. I imagine myself running through snow, how it squeaks under my boots and how I become lighter and lighter with every step.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112,
bad. That was loud. The ringer's trill blue. I don't think that's the right word for there. The ringer's trill blew that illusion away. I tore myself from the window with great effort, then took a couple of deep breaths, trying to at least calm down my mad pulse, and entered the classroom. The first day of school, everybody. The prim teacher looked at me over the frame of her glasses, clearly annoyed.
Я новенький.
I'm the transfer student.
Мне вот сказали к вам подойти.
I was told to come here. The snowy forest trail was winding in front of my eyes. The pines rustled, and it didn't sound predatory anymore. She buried herself in the register and flicked through the
А
pages.
фамилия-то как?
Your last name?
Петров.
Petrov?
Громче говори.
What are you mumbling there?
Чего мямлишь?
Say it clearly.
Петров.
Нет такого.
You're not on the list. She measured me with a long, heavy stare as if trying to see if I was lying. I wanted to sink through the floor. Hazy faces observed all of that from the left. The classroom breathed and snorted in unison, like a living organism, like a dangerous beast.
Ты не ошибся?
Are you sure?
Нет такого в списке.
I don't have you in my register. My knees chose the worst time to start shaking, and I felt dizzy. I clutched my fists so hard my knuckles became
Мне
white.
сказали, 204 кабинет, Лилия Павловна, 6 В.
They told me to come to classroom 204 and to ask for Lila Pavlovna, class 6C. Yeah, okay. Apparently everybody in class took my words for some sort of joke because they all were
Что за
laughing.
бардак?
What's wrong with this school? The classroom fell silent. The kids hid their smirks for a better occasion.
Понаберут студентов.
Why do we hire so many
Только
interns?
знают, что губят
They
своим
all
выливать.
know
А
now.
я разгребай, значит.
They all know. They all know how to. Okay, sorry. They all know how to put lipstick all over their bulging lips, but when it comes to real problems, I have to solve everything. Yeah, poor kid.
А бумаги-то кто заполнять будет? Не первый раз ведь уже.
How did they send you here without any proper paperwork? Ugh. We've had the same thing happen so many times already.
Подожди здесь. Сейчас.
Wait here, I'll be back.
Сейчас я им устрою.
After I have a little chat with them. The teacher flew past me, mumbling something to herself in righteous anger, and I was left standing at the center of the classroom. Lilia Paulowna. Huh. I'll probably still butcher it. Like a convict in front of a firing squad, I lowered my gaze, feeling the mocking stares from all around the classroom directed at me. They prickled my skin, danced on it like laser sights. Yeah, now he's definitely the center of attention. Once again, I imagined running far away from this place, fighting the clawing wind, soaring high above the pines in one long jump. The wind in my back as my only companion. The eyes of my future classmates were asking, This new boy, is he one of us or an outsider? Somebody whispered something and a stifled laughter rolled through the classroom.
Доску вытри!
Wipe the board! It was easy to guess who this mean prankster here.
Эй, очкарик!
Hey, Four Eyes!
Ты чё, не только слепой, но еще и глухой?
Are you not only blind but also deaf?
Доску вытри, говорю!
I said wipe the board. My knees weren't the only shaking part of my body anymore. I was trembling from head to toe, and I prayed for the teacher to come back sooner. My prayers were answered by the powers that be. Oh shit, we're gonna be stuck next to him, aren't we? And what should I do with you now?
Куда сажать, а?
Where will you sit?
Давай-ка сядь, наверное, с Семеном.
Oh well, you can sit with Simon, I guess.
Он все равно один.
He's alone anyways.
Еще чего?
Simon, no way. The fatso put his backpack on the seat beside him in defiance, scratched his belly and smirked.
Ты опять за старое?
Are you back to your old tricks?
Снова бабушку в
Should I
школу
call your
вызывать?
grandmother here again? The classroom went silent.
А чё она мне сделает?
Samyun? Okay. And what's she gonna do?
Не она, так я тебе сделаю.
I'll be the one to do something if she doesn't.
Рюкзак убрал быстро.
Put your backpack away now. Samyun didn't move a muscle. He started studying the portraits of writers on the wall, looking bored. I needed to do something, to resolve this somehow, to save myself. I cleared my throat and continued in a stifled voice that sounded nothing like me.
Я могу за последнюю парту сесть.
I can sit in the last row.
Там, кажется, свободно.
I think there's a free seat. The teacher snorted loudly. She looked at me, then Samyun, then back at me.
Ладно.
Fine.
Садись пока туда.
Go there for now.
А с тобой, Бабурин, мы еще поговорим.
And you, Borian? Oh, goodness gracious. You, B! I'll have a talk with you later. There. The last name is Sam. Okay.
Чтобы подошел после уроков.
Come to me after
Будешь по
class.
классу дежурить, ясно?
You'll be on cleaning duty. Got it? Samyun forced out a twisted smile. Juicy pimples were growing on the tips of his nose. Ripe for the... why do they have to describe it that way? Look! 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 I walked carefully, afraid to stumble and fall, causing another outburst of laughter from anyone. I took my seat at the back at the last table where I was met with a pile of old posters. The outcasts took their seats and the class was ready to start.
Вот и хорошо. Начнем урок.
Now, this is settled. Let's start the class.
Тема.
Today's
Традиции
theme
русской и мировой
is traditions
литературы в
of
рассказе
Russian...
Зощенко «Не надо врать».
Today's theme is traditions of Russian and international literature in Zolsheny... Zolshenko's Don't Lie. I know I have just... That was not... Okay. Moving on. The fatso turned back to me. His stare informed me of the coming days, weeks, and months of bullying. Just another Russian writer, so never mind. I tried! It probably not... I tried. I've got my eyes on you, said his watery look. After just a couple of periods, I had already noticed a huge yellow spit stain in my notebook. At the cafeteria, this Samyun accidentally spilled a glass of Kampot on me, Compote. Compote. What is compote? A dessert drink brewed from a mixture of dried fruit and berries. Oh, okay. And then he flailed his hands around, having exited the toilet so some of the liquid from his hands would get on me. Well, that's kind of rude. Just before the final period for today, Samyun pushed me into a buzzing crowd of girls from our class. They made way, cursing, but I couldn't hold my balance and ended up ramming my face into the girl I took for the class rep before, right into her chest. Oh no. Oh no! This poor kid!
Ой!
That poor kid! Oh, that's... I immediately stepped back, dying from embarrassment.
В порядке?
I'm sorry, are you alright?
Я...
Then she suddenly put her hands on her hips.
Нет, ну вы посмотрите на него.
Will you look at him?
Облапал меня прямо у
Groping
всех
me
на
in front of
глазах.
everybody. Oh, you fucking bitch. It's clear that he didn't do that on purpose.
Я сейчас все маме расскажу.
I'll tell my mom.
Тебя из школы выгонят, извращенец.
They'll expel you, pervert. There was some sort of sadistic pleasure in her eyes, as if she was a child who was about to put a lit-up match to a choffer beetle.
Я нечаянно. Меня толкнули.
I didn't mean to. He pushed me.
Все видели. Слепых среди нас нет.
We all saw that, you know. No blind among us. She stared at my glasses while showing me a creepy smile. I started to fume on the inside, but Samon's laughter cooled my head.
Толкнули? Чё, правда?
I pushed you? You sure? He swaggered up to me, enveloping me in the smell of sunflower seeds and rotting teeth, and then pushed me to the ground.
Вот так, да?
Like this, huh?
И чё
What
ты
you gonna do
сделаешь?
now? The bully towered over me as if saying, "Come on, hit me. Let me see you try." Do we fight back or endure? What to do? Oh, see, this is why I don't bother doing the poll. Because you guys already answered it. And the poll's not coming out any different. Only 4 people are voting. Okay, so we're gonna fight back.
Слушай, ты...
Listen, you. My throat went dry, my lips were moving on their own, and my voice was akin to a stifled squeal. Samyun wore a mocking smile.
Давай, давай, продолжай, очкарик.
Go on, Four Eyes.
Чё примолк-то?
Why did you stop?
Нам всем очень интересно.
We're all waiting.
Если еще хоть раз меня тронешь...
If you ever touch me again. Samyun slowly stuck out a finger, poking my forehead.
Натронул и
I
чё?
did. So what?
Еще хоть раз
If you ever do that again?
тронул.
Here.
А вот еще.
Once more.
Ищ,
And again.
ищ,
And again.
ищ.
And again! He was poking me with his finger so hard that my head tilted backward. I must not cry, or I'll be done for.
Чё ты мне сделаешь,
What will a wimp
мямля?
like you do to me? My vision went blurry. My soul tore off from the floor. I rushed forward and threw a random punch without looking. Oh, damn. What I saw when I opened my eyes was beautiful and horrifying at the same time. Samyun was holding his ear and blinking in amazement. I was the first person to rebel against his... Was I the first person to rebel against his absolute rule?
Стопэ!
Лена,
I need to run, but I was already surrounded by his cronies.
Лилия Павловна!
Lily, uh, Polona, Polona.
Лилия Павловна, Петров Бабурина ударил!
Petrov hit Samyun. Samyun's cheeks grew redder and his pimples were even whiter, like the heads of larvae. Why do they have to describe it that way? I hate it when people start describing that shit. Ugh. But a smile flashed on his face, and it was only noticed among his comrades. He really got close to me. The smell of rotting teeth washed over me.
Тебе пиздец.
You are fucking done. That got loud. Alright. His voice was evil and dangerous, like someone tore off the lid from a kettle without with boiling fat. I was waiting to get hit, counting the thumps of my heart and guessing where his fist will go. The solar plexus, the jaw, the nose. But then he just turned and walked off. A thought, cold and sober and extremely rational, popped into my head. I was going to get killed today. I was late to leave school after class on purpose. Samyun didn't attend the last period, so I was hopeful. What if he decided to dodge the cleaning duty and ran home, forgetting all about me? I heaved a sigh of relief like someone on death row whose execution was delayed by a day. But I didn't let myself forget his tone, his vengeful gaze, and his scary electrified smirk. While the other children were leaving the school, laughing loudly, I was pretending to skim through my books near a window. I was staring outside, nervous. Samyun was nowhere to be found in the front yard or near the school gate. I didn't really believe I was this lucky, so I decided to be extra cautious and stayed for some time more in the corridor that was gradually getting less crowded. All of the bustle moved to the first floor. There was a skeleton peeking out of the biology classroom. Some jokester put a cap with an American condor on its head. The sound of running water was coming from the bathroom. I was the only person left in the whole school. I'm not alone, a sudden thought came to me. I remembered the missing boy. His portrait was on the notice board near the schedule. I remembered his smile, him looking at me, and the fact that he's most likely already dead.
Привет.
Hello? I shuddered and turned around. At first, my eyes stumbled upon the black violin case. Then I noticed a girl from my class was holding it. She sat in the first row of the second column. I could swear I caught her looking at me a couple of times. I was sneaking glances at her myself. Sometimes it just feels nice to look at something pretty, the spring, the sky, or a girl that's not in the crowd that's laughing at Samon's jokes. She wasn't whispering the dirty laundry of other people at Katya. She spent all the breaks just like me, staying in the classroom or looking in the window or drawing something in her green notebook.
Здравствуй.
Hello. I turned red and pretended I was studying the pattern on the wood floor.
Круто ты ему врезал.
It was cool the way you hit him.
Это вышло случайно.
It was just an accident, almost. I started shoving books in my backpack to at least put something in my hands.
Вроде Семен раньше таким не был.
Samyun wasn't like that before.
Он к нам недавно перевелся.
He also transferred here just recently.
Бабушка мне его по секрету сказала,
His
что он
grandma
словно
told me that
взбесился.
it almost felt like he went mad.
Семена даже старшеклассники побаиваются. Представляешь?
Even the upperclassmen fear Samyun. Did you know?
А ты вот молодец.
But you're different.
Не струсил.
You're brave.
Угу.
I mumble in reply. Yeah, right. Me? Brave? A hero that has been standing around in the hallway to avoid a beating. The girl looked at me with her clear, attentive eyes.
А ты за рекой живешь?
Do you live over the river?
В том деревянном доме?
In that wooden house?
Ну да.
Yeah.
Там, наверное, страшно.
Must be scary living there.
Да еще через лес идти.
And you also have to cross the
Я бы
forest.
так не смогла.
I wouldn't be able to do that. I shivered at the mention of the forest. I thought of intertwining branches of a snake-like trail of endless darkness that spread like mold among the crooked trees. So I straight up lied.
Да не так уж там и страшно.
It's not that scary.
А что тебя так пугает?
What's so scary about it for you? She smiled after a brief pose, as if brushing off a daydream.
Да так. Ничего.
Well, actually, never mind.
Меня, кстати, Полина зовут.
My name is Paulina, by the way.
А меня Антон.
And I'm Anton.
Ну,
I already
я
know
знаю.
that.
Слушай, Антон,
Hey, Anton. She stumbled as if trying to decide whether she should continue.
а что ты делаешь после школы?
What are you doing after school? My chest felt prickly after her innocent question, yet somehow it felt pleasant.
Ничего такого.
Nothing much. I stumbled and didn't finish my sentence. Okay. Alyssa's predatory smile flashed in front of my eyes. Her playful eyes and the slits of the mask were probably just a product of my imagination, though. What if that fox girl is waiting for me after the school? Or was it another of her weird jokes? I wonder if she's hiding a big red tail under her coat. I suddenly got covered with beads of sweat, like after a PE class. I wanted to take a shower, as if just thinking of the foxy girl made me dirty, soiled my clothes, lured me into the forest embrace. Okay.
У меня сейчас занятие, скрипка, а потом я свободна.
I have a violin lesson, and then I'll be free.
Дедушка мне репетитора нанял.
My grandpa hired me a private tutor.
Наш учитель музыки, он же скрипач. А здесь, в поселке, ему некому преподавать. Только мне.
I was thinking the same thing, Lordon. Our music teacher is a violinist, and he doesn't have anyone to teach here except for me. She waved her free hand in the air, imitating the movement of a bow on violin strings. I could almost hear the music. It chased Alyssa out of my head. I looked at Paulina's lips, catching her every word, and then froze from an unusual sensation. They were warm, soothing, and tingly. It felt like I was very small, and the feelings were immense, and they couldn't hit me. They couldn't fit inside me.
Тут говорят, что у нас в поселке маньяк завелся.
They say there's a serial killer on the loose in the village.
Раньше со школы меня всегда дедушка забирал, но в последнее время ему не здоровится.
Normally, Grandpa would escort me home from school, but he's been sick lately. I snuck a glance at Volva's photo. His eyeballs were studying me. His lips were wearing black lipstick. Just like the portrait on a gravestone.
Ты не подумай, я не трусишка, просто...
I mean, I'm not a coward, it's just...
Просто мне кажется, что с тобой будет безопаснее.
I think I'll be safer together with you.
Антон, ты сможешь проводить меня до дома?
Will you go home with me, Anton? There it was. Finally, everything that I read about in the adventure books, everything that I dreamt about, was seeping into my life. A mysterious crime, a beautiful stranger, and a heroic deed. A duel. Thinking of Samyon instantly sobered me up. Returned me back to Earth, and it started shaking under my feet like a deck of a ship. If only I could rise to the occasion in front of Paulina. Because no matter how brave I was trying to act, it was obvious for both of us that I wouldn't be able to stand a chance against a big guy like that. And him knocking me out won't even be able... Him knocking me out won't even be able... Okay. Try that for a third time. And him knocking me out won't even be the worst of it. The worst part is that Paulina will see all of that. And she'll laugh at me like everybody else. No, I don't need anybody to see me in such a shameful state.
Сегодня вряд ли получится.
I doubt I'll be able to today.
Ты же знаешь,
You
Семён,
know,
скорее всего,
Samyon
караулит
is
на
waiting
школьном
for me
дворе.
outside.
Лучше мне с ним разобраться лично, по-мужски.
Oh, well, thank you for the lurk, Dan. I appreciate it. I hope your stream went well. I hadn't said much. I hadn't said anything, I don't think, but I lurked your stream while I could. Thank you for stopping in, though. I need to deal with him one-on-one, like a man.
Глупости
Nonsense. Paulina brushed off some hair off her forehead, and I sensed a weak aroma of blackberry. Paulina was like water. When you were thirsty, you gulp it down and still want more. I remembered the summer evenings at the country house, the fire's pungent smoke, the berries hanging over our fence from the neighbors, and a soft cover of pine needles under my shoes. Or soles. Those peaceful days when I felt completely safe. My mom resting in a hammock, my dad putting meat on a skewer. Could I have foreseen the upcoming catastrophe in the crackle of the coals, in our parents' laugh, in the smell of the fleeting July? Could I have seen how fragile that world was?
Думаешь, этот дикарь будет честно драться?
Do you really think that savage will give you a fair fight?
Со своими дружками набросятся всем скопом, опомниться даже не дадут.
I was homeschooled, Dagger, so I never really had that opportunity. He'll just swarm you with his friends without giving you a chance to catch a breath. Paulina suddenly flashed a devious smile.
Но если мы пойдем вместе,
But if we'll go
это их
together,
ошарашит.
they will be put off.
Я же не только первая скрипка
I'm
на
not
деревне.
only the first violinist of this village, I'm also a girl.
Слышала от знакомого хулигана,
I
что
heard
он
from a
никогда не
delinquent
нападает
I
на
know
кого-то,
that he'll
кто
never
присутствует
attack
девушка.
someone when there's a girl around.
Представляешь, у них кодекс чести такой.
Can you imagine? They have a weird code of honor. A delinquent, you know, I thought, worried. Is he better than me? Taller? More handsome?
Ой, мне на музыку пора.
Oh, I have to go to music class. She made a couple of steps and stopped. Amazing. Paulina didn't look like those beauties from the magazine posters or the actresses from movies. But in the flickering light of the ceiling lamp, she looked much more alluring. It happens, Dagger.
А ты играешь на чем-нибудь?
Can you play anything? My parents bought me a guitar a couple years ago. I immediately remembered my meager attempts at making music. I am, change. We're all waiting for change. Okay, I'm assuming that's a Russian song reference. Viktor Soy, a singer and frontman of the popular Soviet rock band Kino, was played with a mix of new wave and post-punk. Their hit song Changes is one of the most popular tracks in the new Russian era. He died in a car accident. Oh, that's sad. Okay. The song echoed my thoughts and my desire to change something. The guitar got lost somewhere, as if refusing to move to the old house near the forest. I think my parents gave it away to someone that needed it
Ой,
more.
не играю.
I don't, sadly. A
Жалко.
pity.
Ну ладно, я побежала.
Oh well, I'll be going.
Пока!
Bye! Hi, Wax. How are you doing today, man? How are things going over in Sweden? You seem to pop up about once a month. I hope you're doing well. Have no fear, the big boy, bad booty daddy, is he? All good, snowy as hell. That seems to be everybody's word of choice lately. Snowy as hell. I still have snow on the ground from when we had snow like a week ago, and some of the chat people had just got like 20 inches yesterday over on the East Coast. It's just crazy. I am doing good, yes. Glad to hear you're doing well. Her shout was captured by the loud echo. Her shoes also echoed through the school hallways. In my region, it's wet, cold, and windy. Well, that's because you're in Ireland. Is it ever snowy in Ireland? Swiggity swooty, I'm gonna grab your— No, Dagger, you're not. No. You have no idea how snowy it is in Russia. I can only imagine, Lordon. You want to know the main thing that always sticks out to me about Russia? One is the accent, and two is the fact that you guys— I just always imagine Russia with 3 feet of snow. Like, it never melts. In my imagination, Russia always has 3 feet of snow that never melts. I know that's not reality, but that's what I always envision when I think of Russia. You rarely get snow? Yeah. Her shoes also echoed through the school hallways.
Пока.
It actually gets pretty hot here in the summer. Yeah, I imagine it does, because, I mean, all that snow and ice has to melt at some point for you guys to be able to, like, plant and do harvest and that type of things. But for some reason, summer in Russia just doesn't mix with my imagination. I always imagine Russia covered in snow. Bye, Anton says. I wasn't sure if Paulina heard me. I looked out the window again. The schoolyard was empty, just a couple of grade schoolers throwing snowballs at each other. Summer in Antarctica. I don't know why I always have this image of Russia and snow. I know that they have summer. I know that it gets warm there, but for some reason in my mind it's always covered in snow. This is a Russian horror visual novel, Wax. And they kind of release it in episodes like they did for Life is Strange. Or like what was done for Life is Strange. And so far we've done episode 1. This is episode 2. And then we'll do episode 3 probably another day or the next day. And then episode 4 is supposed to be out sometime in June or July. And I don't know when episode 5 is supposed to be. So to answer your question, it's a game and a book. The school, I mean, Wax, you've seen me try to pronounce Swedish words before, and Lord on here has been very helpful in helping me pronounce Russian names. So it's been interesting. I have butchered quite a few names. There was one name I butchered so badly he didn't even bother to give me the correction for it. He just laughed at me. Ugh. The schoolyard was empty, just a couple of grade schoolers throwing snowballs at each other. Nobody who looked like a hulking Samyon with his cronies. I was giving up hope. What should I do? Paulina could become my friend, the first one in this new place. And besides, she may be in real danger of meeting a killer, and I'll be her defender, her knight. And even though my inner voice was hesitant and whispering about running away from the killers lurking in the woods at night, Paulina was worth the risk. But the red cunning fox was also intriguing. She promised me to help look for Volva, and this will bring me a reward. And I have that same feeling, Dagger. Like Lordon said earlier, I think she's actually the fox chick. More money will also guarantee peace in my family. Gifts for Alia. I imagine my sister, happy like those girls who get prizes from Suponev in the finest hour. A Soviet and Russian TV host, the most prolific showman of the Russian kids TV in the 90s. He hosted team quizzes as well as a computer entertainment show. Suponev died on December 8th in 2001. When he crashed his snowmobile into a river. Ooh. Ow. Okay. Yeah, her knight. Apparently he's gonna be her knight. She'll be dancing with the famous singers, maybe a new popular boys band like... I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. A Russian boy band that was popular in the 90s and early 2000s and consisted of 3 singers. Its songwriter and vocalist Igor died to a fall from a 6-story balcony. The official police report claimed that it to be suicide. Alya Yagovos substituted him in the band and later died from cirrhosis? Yeah, cirrhosis. Wow. Okay. No, Wax. The game has its own nice suspenseful horror music. We don't need the Russian anthem playing behind that. We're good. I know, that's kind of what I was thinking too, Alan. Ugh. My mom and dad hugging in the Ostakino Pavilion, and all of us going to Disneyland. Please, no anthem. Oh, I'm not planning to do the anthem. And how are you doing today? But I'm fixing to butcher the fuck out of your name, and I am sorry. But how are you doing today, Dorians? I hope you're doing well. I'm assuming you found me through Tiny Bunny. What's up, Munchkin? You're doing good? Good. And I'm sorry I butchered your name. I try. But you can save here and pass both of these routes later. Yeah. Okay. Here, this is what we're gonna do. Alright, we're gonna put up a poll and you guys tell me who you wanna go with. Go with who? Alright, I'm calling you Dorians. Alright, for me, Dorians, the reason I think that they're probably the same people is the way they present themselves, and their eyes are very, very similar if you pay attention to them. Their voice is a little bit harder to tell because they kind of distort Alyssa's voice, but the way she speaks and says things is very similar, and her eyes kind of are what really made me go, she looks like Alyssa. Alright, so it looks like we're going with Paulina. Snow danced in the air outside the window, following the rhythm of the music that was flowing from around the corner. It may be the artist's style with the eyes. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because there are ways to make it to where everybody has slightly different eyes, but hers look very similar. But it is what it is. I jumped off the windowsill and started walking along the hallway, curiosity eating away at me. The half an hour I'd spent here waiting crawled in at snail's pace. I wanted to see Paulina again. The music became louder. It streamed out of the half-open door at the far end of the corridor. The music taste was limited to Letov, Shevach, the timeless classic and pop song I saw on TV. Igor Letov, a singer and frontman for the band. Oh, I'm not even pronouncing that. Civil Defiance, okay, thank you. That played a mix of garbage punk, or garage punk, and psychedelic rock. Letov is presumably considered the godfather and the patriarch of Russian punk rock, and most of the influential members of the punk movement in Russia. He died peacefully in his sleep. Is all the composers in this game dead? Are all the singers dead at this point? I think it's... Along with music videos that would sometimes be put out on tapes as teasers before a movie. But this violin melody captivated me. It felt like a master woodcutter working with delicate wood, a fragile crystal toy, a gust of warm wind. I mean, they are Russian. Actually, many legends of Russian music have already died. Oh, really? All singers must die. That's true. Okay, alright, you guys got a point. You got a point. Alright, everybody's got a point. And seeing as how I think they're basing this in the... They're basing this, what, in the early 90s? Is that right? I don't know what the hell Rule 27 is, and I do not want to Google it. Last time I Googled an internet rule, I was very, I wish I could go back to being that innocent. Not Rule 34. Nobody would explain to me what the fuck Rule 34 was, and I had to Google it. I wish I could go back to being that innocent. Died around that age? Oh, during the days of the Soviet Union. Rite of passage. Oh, famous people dying at age 27. Okay, I get you. I get you. I see what you guys are on about now. A lot of... I think... Maybe that's because they do too many drugs. Too much alcohol and drugs. That's what I'm blaming it on. Actually, post-Soviet Union, so this is more democratic Russia? Well, based on what they keep saying and stuff, and the fact that they're using a VHS, I'm saying that I'm gonna put the time frame of this in the early 90s. That's a lot of it? Yeah. Alright. We already read this sentence. I pressed my cheek against the doorway. Paulina was hiding from me in the far end of the classroom, but a shadow that fell on the wall definitely belonged to a girl with a violin. The movement of her bow was so graceful that I felt like I was getting carried away on the waves of music. My heart broke the barrier of my ribcage and started hopping around. Faster and faster it jumped on snow piles, gliding between the pines toward the fiery sun above the windfall.
Заскучал?
Got tired of waiting? Okay, so mid to late 90s. Got it. Soviet Union collapsed in 91. Is that true? Is that... I always forget when the Soviet Union collapsed. Good night, Alan. Thank you for hanging out with us. Enjoy your dinner. And I hope to see you next time I'm streaming during the time frame that you're awake. I always appreciate it when you stop in. Have a good rest of your night. Let's see here. I was so deep in thought that I didn't hear the approaching footsteps. After bathing in music, Paulina felt even more magical.
Да нет, нет.
Oh, no, not really.
Я
I
о
just...
комиксе своем думал.
I was just thinking about my comic. For some unknown reason, I lied.
Ты комиксы рисуешь?
You draw comics?
Да, ну, то есть
Yeah, well, I mean,
планирую рисовать.
I want to draw one.
Ага.
Oh.
И про что твой комикс?
And what will it be about? Oh.
That's its bar and that's its handle. It's still going to harvest.
That looks cool, son. Good job.
Until at least next month.
I'm not touching it. It's your project. I'm not touching it, I promise. The comic will be about the most charming and kind girl that plays a violin who somehow happened to be in this house of horror.
Про лесу.
About a fox.
Ой, точнее, про
Oh,
говорящих
I mean,
животных, что живут в
about
лесу и
talking
помогают
animals who
заблудившимся детям вернуться
help
домой.
children who get lost to return home from the woods.
А потом они
And then they
пляшут в
they
ночь.
dance in the night.
Ого,
Wow.
как интересно.
Sounds interesting.
Сам придумал?
Did you come up with it yourself? I lowered my gaze.
вдохновился.
I got inspired from looking out the window. We descend to the first floor. I opened the door in front of Paulina. Dad told me how essential it is to be a gentleman. I agree.
Значит, творческая личность.
So you're an artist, huh?
Я догадывалась, что ты не
I had a
такой
hunch you were different.
особенный.
Special.
Шутишь?
Going, are you joking me? Are you joking? Yeah, me.
Я самая обыкновенная.
I'm absolutely average.
Это Семён обыкновенный.
Samyon is the average one, Pauline.
В смысле, обычный придурок.
An average idiot.
А в тебе живет
And you
нечто
carry
такое
something
пушистое.
kind and fluffy inside you. Something barked near my leg when we were crossing the schoolyard, interrupting Paulina. Ah! Yep, there's not much left till the end. Okay. Mana! Yeah, everything is crazy around here.
Не бойся, это Жулька.
Don't worry about it. It's just Julka. I tried to say it the way he did. No, Dagger. I like gentlemen. Thank you. I stood on one knee and rubbed the barking dog behind the ear. It was frantically wagging its tail like it had some sort of propeller. I looked around the yard trying to find Alyssa. Why did I say Alicia? But the fox girl was nowhere to be found, neither in the yard nor on the road.
Брось ее!
Leave it be, Paulina said.
Да что, она же дикая!
It's a stray, you know.
Клещей еще подцепишь.
What if it has pests?
Нет, у нее хозяйка есть.
No, this one has an owner, I think. Paulina looked at the playful dog with disgust, covering her mouth with a handkerchief.
А у тебя никакой еды не завалялось?
Do you have any food on you?
Кажется, что-то
I think I
осталось.
have something left.
Покормим и пойдем.
We'll feed it and go, alright? She took out a sandwich out of her bag and threw it to Zulka. The little dog rushed to her banquet, swept away the bread with her nose, and started eating the bologna.
Какая привереда.
What a picky eater.
Ешь все, давай.
Come on, eat everything. Paulina tugged my sleeve, egging me on.
Ты чего?
Hey, what's wrong? See, that right there, that sounds so much like Alyssa. She replied with laughter. The violin girl had literally dragged me out of the school gate, stifling laughs into a fist. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. I turned around. Zolka followed us with sad eyes as we were leaving. The dog looked especially lonely with the school as the backdrop. And then Paulina stopped laughing. She walked alongside me with a blank stare, completely silent.
Нечего паразитов плодить.
Don't spread pests. Her remark turned out pretty harsh. Was it really the strays' fault she had to live in the
Они
streets?
потом на людей кидаются.
They always attack people later.
Прошлой
damn.
зимой такая стая чуть дедушку не загрызла.
A pack of those almost killed my grandpa last winter.
Кошмар.
That's horrible.
Его парализовало.
He's paralyzed now.
Он больше никогда не сможет ходить.
He will never be able to walk again. The ZH sound is kind of like the sound of bees flying. Okay, okay. I remember the scary pack of dogs that was chasing me just a while ago.
Мне очень жаль.
I'm sorry.
Ничего.
It's okay. Paulina showed me another enchanting smile, her eyes half closed.
Главное, что мы друг друга поняли.
What matters is we understand each other now. I forgot all about Zulka after she said that. Some third graders were throwing snowballs at each other and singing.
Два, принеси сова.
3, 4, 5, the owl will arrive. The owl? Alia. An image of my sister sitting near the window, bored, looking for me in the twilight, flashed before my eyes. I promised myself that I would go home as soon as I escort Paulina.
А что это за песенку малые поют?
What's this song the kids are
Уже
singing?
второй раз за день ее слышу.
It's the second time I've heard it today. We were walking down the main street. Somewhere near, a tractor was grumbling, clearing snowdrifts. Ravens flew across the ashen sky. A flock of blackbirds circled above us like scary crosses that ran away from graves.
Про сову?
The owl one?
Это считалочка местная.
It's just a local nursery
Мне
rhyme.
в детстве дедушка напевал.
Grandpa used to sing it to me when I
Он
was little.
интересуется историей края. Много знает про наш фольклор.
He's very knowledgeable about the local history and folklore.
И что там за считалочка такая?
And what does that rhyme sound like?
Слушай.
Oh no, okay, we get to hear the rhyme. She started walking backwards, facing me and smiling. Oh, that's
Раз, два. Прилети сова.
1, 2, time to play with you.
3, 4, 5. Время поиграть.
3, 4, 5, the owl will arrive.
6 да 6. Дыбом волчья шерсть.
6 on end, the wolf's gray fur will stand.
7, 8. Бьем копытом озимь.
7, 8, stomp your hooves and wait.
Для медведя, для лисы.
For the fox and for the bear,
Зайчик кушать принеси.
bunny tasty meals prepare. I thought that I had already met a fox this morning. Thankfully, I hadn't met any wolves or bears. The scenery kind of reminds me of the village I grew up in during winter, not gonna lie. Well, it does make sense since this kind of architecture is common. Oh, that's kind of cool, Doom. As I was looking at the girl by my side, I became strangely brave, so I said something unexpected. Yeah, I was trying to listen for her cadence as she was going through it. That way when I read it in English, I could try to maintain it. Which is sometimes hard because of the translations. As I was looking at the girl by my side, I became strangely brave, so I said something
У
unexpected.
тебя красивый голос.
You have a beautiful voice. Paulina adjusted her hair, slightly embarrassed.
Спасибо.
Thanks.
И что же, это конец считалочки?
And is that the end of the rhyme?
Принес им заяц покушать или нет?
Did the bunny prepare those meals?
Поди узнай.
Who knows?
Спросить не у кого. Считалочка очень старая.
Nobody will be able to tell you now. It's really old.
Древняя даже.
I'd even say ancient.
С ней легенда одна связана.
There's a legend related to it, though.
Если тебе интересно.
Want me to tell you?
Конечно.
Of course.
Тут в тайге раньше племена жили
All
разные.
sorts of tribes had lived in the... Oh, I always fuck up the name of this forest.
Дедушка говорит, у них была такая
Grandpa told me that
Короче, такой ритуал, когда мальчику наступала пора становиться мужчиной.
Grandpa told me that they had this some sort of rite when a boy was ready to become a man. I listened closely. I mean, I was also really close to that age myself.
Юношу отводили в лес, и он должен был 3
They would lead him
ночи
into the
провести
woods,
там
where he
охотясь.
needed to spend 3 days hunting.
По легенде, один такой
There's a legend
юноша
about a
ушел
young
в
man
дорогу,
who went into the Tanga and never returned,
а вернулся, когда его
and then
перестали
suddenly
искать.
came back when they already stopped looking for him.
Нагрянул в деревню, исцарапанный.
He was covered in scratches, dirt, and dirty and cold. Thega. Is that right? Thega? Yes, Munchkin.
Might want to look at the necklace I made. It's too big to carry.
I'll be there in a minute to look at it.
And I'm gonna be making decorations.
I imagine sleeping among the pines and bare layers.
Родные выбежали к нему, а он упал на землю.
His family rushed to help him, but he just fell unconscious.
Привели шамана.
They brought a shaman.
Осмотрел
He looked at the young man, and his face became grim. He told them that he was in bad shape. The young man convulsed until the morning, repeating that rhyme over and over, over and over. One, two, time to play with you, as if Taiga itself was whispering to him. And when the sun came out, he died. But the shaman said that he was already dead when he returned. He came out of the woods as a living corpse and whispered that rhyme with his dead lips. I froze in fear. Are you sure it's not some horror movie?
Фольклор бывает пострашнее всякого кино, уж поверь.
Folklore can be way scarier than movies, believe me. Yeah, I believe a lot of horror movies are actually based on folklore, and most of the time the horror movies don't even come close to the actual stories.
Дедушка говорит, что племя то собралось спешно и ушло на юг.
Grandpa said that this tribe just uprooted in a hurry and left to the south.
Они были смелыми.
They must have been brave if they lived here. Paulina kicked one of the snow piles with her small boot.
Смелыми и глупыми.
Brave, but stupid.
Неужели надо мертвецов?
Did they need a corpse to appear from the forest for them to understand?
Шло что?
Understand what?
Что нужно уезжать отсюда.
That they need to get out of here.
Есть целый мир.
Yeah. There's the big world, and then there's our village.
Мир.
The world. She spreads her arms wide.
Поселок.
The village. She showed a distance that was almost invisible with her two
Я
fingers.
часто представляю большие города.
I often imagine big cities.
Могу часами рассматривать
I
глобус.
can look at the globe for
Или
hours,
журналы вокруг света из
or at around the world magazines from the library.
Какие же там прекрасные
They have such pretty names.
Только послушай.
Just listen.
Рейкьявик.
Why do you sound like a bird?
What, son?
Stop this.
Because I didn't. It doesn't matter. What do you need?
I'm looking for my little afraid that rock.
I don't know, son. Reykjavik. I know I just butchered the
Тель-Авив.
Tel Aviv.
Это же чистейшая
Music to my
музыка.
ears. She started circling, her eyes shut dreamingly. The forest towered before us, touching the low clouds. The road fell into the semi-dark between the trees. Wait a minute, where does Paulina live? I thought she lived in the village.
Я бы могла покорить сцену,
I could have conquered the stage,
выступать перед тысячами
performing in front of
зрителей.
А я
thousands,
сцены ужасно боюсь.
and I have stage fright.
Так ты другим возьмешь. Живопись.
Oh, you'll get famous another way. By drawing. Yeah, I hate big cities. I hate I technically live in a relatively small town, and I hate it. Because it's still too big. I hate it. Because it keeps getting bigger, and I don't like it.
У нас-то есть будущее. А что ждет того же Семена?
We both have a future, but what about, say, Samyun? I'll get Samyun.
Ну, станет он еще толще.
He may just get fatter. And
Будет пирожками торговать.
he'll end up selling Brizoki?
Ага.
Yeah, made from dogs. I don't know what that is. What is that? Yeah, I tend to agree on that one, Doom. It's like buns? Okay. We burst out laughing, exercising worry from our minds with lighthearted fun.
Если ему, конечно, доверят пирожки.
If somebody will even trust him with selling them.
Наверное, ты права.
Oh, you're right.
Он их в один присест слопает.
He can probably eat a whole lot of them in one go.
Я так и думала, что вдвоем в лесу не страшно.